in the world on instructional materials that will be purchased for the great state of Texas. These contracts range anywhere from $5 million to $25 million between the State Board of Education and these huge publishing houses. Now, I'm going to tell you, these publishing houses out of New York, Boston, LA, Chicago, these publishing companies, these instructional material publishing companies, they are some of the largest corporations in the world. One of them owned by Warner Brothers, two of them owned by very large private equity funds, and if I said their names, you would definitely know them. So these are very large, very powerful, hi Gail, very powerful organizations, corporations. And so what happened was about a month before our last State Board of Education meeting, we were tasked with the job of adopting brand new kindergarten through 12th grade science materials for the great state of Texas. To let you know, that was about 299 instructional materials, about 35,000 pages of text to review in about a month's time before the vote. And great men and women in this room, great grassroots or curriculum that taught children are sexual beings from birth. We found an economics lesson that said that communism is the most benevolent form of economic system because it ensures that everybody has equal access to goods and services. Totally denying the fact that there's about 100 million people that died at the hands of communism in the 20th century. It is not a benevolent form of an economic system. Then we also had many lessons about population control and population division or population reduction because humans are killing the earth. It was filled with ESG. It was filled with woke climate change. It was filled with redistribution of wealth based on social credits. It was filled with open borders. It was the most egregious instructional materials, I'm not even calling it instructional materials, indoctrination of Texas students that you could ever imagine, and it was an affront to our way and our Texas values. It would teach children that their parents that worked for oil and gas were part of the problem and that they were evil and destroying the earth, therefore dividing families. So I called my dear friend Scott Bowen, and I called my dear friend, my SREC representative, Galen Devine. Where's Galen? And I told them, y'all, this is going to be a heavy lift. This is 35,000 pages of text. This is the most powerful publishing corporations in the world. We can't do this alone. We need help. And so through them, the way the State Board of Education works is we have a preliminary vote on Tuesday, and then we have a final vote on Friday. On the preliminary vote, we basically rejected 75% of the curriculums that were proposed to us because it was indoctrination. It was not education. And so then all of a sudden we get phone calls from the CEOs of these very large publishing houses. One of the CEOs of a very large publishing company called and said, I'm getting on my private plane. Our meeting ended about 10:30 that night. Said, I'm getting on my private plane in Boston. I'm flying to Austin. Can you meet? I'll be there at 1 a.m. Can you and your team meet? Now we had everybody coming to the table. We had attorneys and CEOs of very large corporations flying into Austin, Texas, because they had to rescue these contracts. And so then at that point, I got to hand them this beautiful resolution that says, in case you don't know, let me inform you how Texas politics work. 2/3 of this board were Republicans. 1/3 is Democrats. So you're going to have 5 votes, but good luck with that. You need these 10 votes to approve your contracts. And let me tell you what's going to happen. You see this document? This is from our state Republican Executive Committee. They have laid out everything that they want changed in your curriculum. This is not going to work for the great state of Texas. So then those CEOs went back, made their changes, did what they needed to do, came back, and we, in the great state of Texas, we now have primate evolution gone. There is not an instructional material that will teach your children or your grandchildren come from a monkey. There is not an instructional material now that is approved by the State Board of Education that will teach that we need population control. There is not a curriculum now approved by the State Board of Education that teaches that communism is a benevolent form of an economic system. And I just wanted to tell y'all thank you, because what happened after you signed your resolution for us is the Harris County Republican Party on Monday night before our meeting passed it as a Republican Party. So again, a great shout out if there are any members here at Harris County Republican Party. Thank y'all for what y'all doing. And thank you for the great the great victory for the state of Texas and for many other states. Governor Huckabee and Governor Sanders actually called me from Arkansas to tell me thank you, because Arkansas understands the importance of Texas leadership and education. So thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you so much for everything you do. If there's no objection, I'm going to take the officials committee report before the state chair report, because that's how my slides are organized. Hearing none, so moved. Can I have the officials committee report? I guess my combined report. Well, that's it. The first item is approval of the budget. Officials committee meeting met, had the required 3 meetings to speak on and address the budget. That was open to other SREC members as well. We received the final product. The numbers are kind of small, but are up on the board. Can you go through? I'll leave it up for a little bit. These are based off previous year's numbers and particularly the last 6 months. Do I have a motion to approve the budget for the 2024 fiscal year? Moved by Bill Fairbrother, second. Second by Don McDonald. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the budget, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The budget passes. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Which is blank. I've made county chair appointments in the following counties: Kyle Stevens in Yoakum County. By the way, if I ever mispronounce a county, I'm from Connecticut, come on. Jan Roper from Swisher County, Shan Turner from Lee County, Lindsay Criswell from King County, Matt Blackman from Jeff Davis County, Karen Bolt from Burleson County, Judith Williams from Sterling County, and Deirdre Parks from Borden County. Can I have a motion to accept Bill Fairbrother and Cheryl Draper seconds? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The following county chairs are appointed. And by the way, this is almost a milestone, so I know almost doesn't count, but this would have been like only the 3rd time in the last decade, like this week, that we had all 254 county chair appointments filled. But one guy didn't call us back. So we're going to hand out his name and number after the meeting, and you're all going to call him. Yes. No. I'm joking. We're not doxing anybody. Next slide, please. SREC committee appointments. We had a number of vacancies, a number of in several committees. I've tried to keep the same amount of people in each committee as before. I think 2 will drop under, and I've talked with everybody to see what they want. Melissa Nur, I guess, let me move that Melissa Nur be appointed to Engagement and Election Integrity, Chris Bro be appointed to Resolutions and Rules, Leslie Thomas be appointed to Rules and Election Integrity, Robert Casillas be appointed to Legislative Priorities and Engagement, and Dale Inman fill the third rules slot that was open. Do I hear a motion to accept those? Bill Fairbrother, second by Britton Brooks. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The motion passes. Anything else? It is on a piece of paper, but it looks like this. Okay, I'll write it out for you. The next SREC meeting is February 9th and February 10th. February 9th and 10th? Okay. February 9th and 10th is the next SREC meeting, so put it on your calendar, please. And to close, I told you my report wouldn't be that long because I want to catch up on time. But I want to say, Robin Armstrong said what we all know. We're approaching primary season, we're approaching convention season. And we see a cleavage between two sides in the Republican Party. Some have called it a civil war. I don't know if I'd call it that, but I certainly see the argument. So if there's a civil war going on in the GOP, there's obviously a big question over whether we participate in that or not. Whether we sit around to see what happens or whether we take an active role in determining the result. So there's two factions, and I think one of the factions obviously is House leadership. I think the other faction basically includes just about everybody else. I'm proud of our Governor Greg Abbott and what he's done in this term. I'm proud he's standing up for school choice. I'm proud he's making huge strides at our border, and I'm proud of what he's doing. I'm proud of our Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick, who is the greatest Lieutenant Governor in the entire nation, I think. And I'm proud of our Senate, of our House conservatives like Brian Harrison, Nate Schlatzline, Tony Tinderholt, and so many others. I'm proud of our party, and I'm proud that the vast majority of our party members and our elected officials are united towards a common cause. And the only question remains is, do we become an active participant? Do we support those in the party who are fighting for our values? And I think yes, but I think from the votes over the past year, 2 years, you agree overwhelmingly. I mean, last meeting, there were 3 no votes out of this entire chamber for a resolution calling on the Speaker to resign or be removed. We had a nearly unanimous vote to stand up for our Attorney General when he was being persecuted. In vote after vote, when we're asked to take positions on matters of dispute between the party, you guys have voted almost overwhelmingly. So I think we're all in agreement. Sometimes we're in agreement as to how we should do it, but we're all in agreement. We need to lead the way on what it means to be a Republican in Texas in the future, and I think you're doing that, and I'm proud of you for doing that. And you're making a difference. I want to point out, sometimes you can't see it through all the chaos, but, and there's always the cliche of if you're taking flack, you're under the target. I mean to say this seriously. You can gauge how your enemies perceive you to, how much of a threat your enemies perceive you to be by the amount of flack you're taking and how intense it is. And if you don't truly feel like you're overwhelmed or under attack, I guarantee you, they don't perceive you as much of a threat. Because there's a lot at stake here, and they know it. And there's a lot of money involved, and they know it. And they're fighting that battle too. And I find it funny, in a very dark sort of way, that we were here a few months ago talking about a tweet by Justin Holland where he said you guys were irrelevant, where he said you guys didn't matter, where he said the Republican Party didn't matter. And now you're almost a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week focus of Dade Phelan's communications department. I think that's quite a message as to how much you matter. So, be proud of what we've done in the past 2.5 years. We won the 2022 election by greater margins than we ever have since 2014. We saved our Attorney General by speaking when no one else could speak because they were unavailable. And we've succeeded in making the party more influential than ever before. So for that, you should be proud, and I thank you, and I'm grateful to you, and voters come up and tell me every day that they're grateful for it. You know, we had a legislator, a House member in the office who was in House leadership and mentioned to me how grateful, and I won't say what his name is because I don't want to get him in trouble, he mentioned how grateful he was for you and how grateful he was because what he said is the Republican Party of Texas stands up to bullies, and we're grateful. So I'm grateful. Thank you for everything you do, and I'm honored to be your chair. We're moving on. We've already moved on to Standing Committee Reports. Officials Committee, that's all we have. It concludes my report for officials and for party chair. Next, is there anyone to present the Finance Committee report for Senator Middleton? Seeing none, we'll move on. Call upon Susan Wright to present the Candidate Resource Committee report.
You're not. Good morning, friends. I'm not sure who all's left from our committee. Could the CRC stand up, please? Steve's still here, Jill. Oh, everybody's here. We had a few that couldn't make it because of conflicts in scheduling. Thank you all for all you do. Our meeting was an executive session mostly. We talked about finances and strategy. Hats off to our new political director, Mike Kavanaugh, for giving an overview of strategy and thoughts. Outside of the executive session, just know that in the coming months, I guess the first 3 months, look for Zooms to be set up on, 1, to talk about strategy, and 2, for everyone who wants to participate, have mock applications online so we can work out all the bugs and have a runoff. Thanks for the words. And so that's where we are. Thank you all to everybody for all the work you've done. For the fundraising is low because money is in pockets until all the sessions are over with, and now we're at Christmas, so yay January. We're gonna get it. We have all the money we need. What did Dick Armey used to say? I think it was Dick Armey. We have all the money we need. It's just in everybody's pockets. So we'll get it. So we don't have most of the work is done. We've identified where it is. We just have to go get it. So that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman, and Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you. Call upon Susan Fountain to present the Party Organization Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Vice Chairman. Appreciate the time. Good afternoon, all of you faithful warriors. Appreciate your help here. First, I'd like to recognize all of the members of our Party Organization Committee. Would you please stand? Thank you so much. Everybody? Thank you. Working hard on the precinct chair handbooks and the SREC handbooks. And we spent a lot of time and effort in this endeavor since the summer. We started in sine die, and focus our efforts on updating who are SREC members and county chairs, as well as reaching out to the TRCCA. We'll be happy to collaborate with them on getting a great updated county chair handbook as well. Excuse me. But we hope to finish that county chair's handbook right after the primary election. We're going to try to organize elections between now and then. We've been focused on training and education, turning grassroots members into precinct chairs, turning precinct chairs into warriors, getting them to step up and realize that they have to reach out to their precincts. It's not just a title to be held. And in 2024, that call will come not once but 5 times to serve in election centers as workers, including primary, municipal, and the general election, and any runoffs as well. We highly encourage county chairs to partner with their SREC committee members to empower their precinct chairs with training, information, and data access. How to access information that I am also able to make an impact as executive director of our Dallas County Republican Party. Thank you. We've made a lot of progress, as you know, in Dallas County, and I keep returning to what we've been able to accomplish in 2.5 years, not as bragging, but to give hope to all of the counties in the larger areas as well as the smaller, that no task is unattainable, but you have to start somewhere, and don't be discouraged by a very, very luminous, it's going to take a lot of effort and more than one election cycle to turn Dallas County back to red, but I think that it's attainable. We're not giving up. We took down the white flag 2.5 years ago. We're full blown in battle gear, I guess you could say. We're very liberal with our printing and resources that we print out, all their flyers, their business cards. We empower our precinct chairs to know how to reach their own constituents. Building our own text message, trained and assigned over 1,300 presiding, alternate judges, and clerks in every
Elections Committee report.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, I'm on my stool. I have my stool. Thank you, Bruce. I would like to publicly tell you all that I am absolutely against dissolving our Partnerships and Coalitions Committee. My committee has worked behind the scenes. Elaine, Jill, Maggie, and our token, Fernando. Oh, that's right. Right? Male? Okay. We got the real thing. Okay. Oh, no, y'all think that's funny? You know, my name is Jerry Fisher with a Y, and when they were looking for my husband, oh, is he here? I go, nope. I've been a female all my life. Okay. So we are working on more guidelines to follow. We had 2 groups come and talk. Verde Spring Branch, conservative Republicans. They are great. They very positive. We voted them in as a coalition because we have a definition for statewide that we're working on, but we accepted them as coalition. Do you want to do it now?
Just finish your
Okay.
remarks.
Okay. And the Latinos for America First, we tabled that because we're still doing research on that group. And Matt Dorsey's here to give it, I hope he's here yet, to give us an update on the YRs. But let me tell you, this new group, they are on fire. They have worked so hard. Their first meeting that we launched, they're in Plano. We had 50 members show up. It's a brand new club. And I'll let Matt tell you more about that. And I would like to say thank you to I'm not going to use the word old, but the groups that have been with us, TFRW, TRCCA, Pachyderms, they are still working very hard, again, behind the scenes or out there in the public, and they give us an update almost every meeting that we have. And we just need to continue. If y'all know other groups that want to statewide come into the partnerships and coalitions, we are working all the time to expand our committee and our membership. So I think that's it. Thank you guys. Thank y'all so much. Merry Christmas, safe travels. And we're going to vote on the Bulverde. I said you're going to vote on Bulverde. Do I have to make a motion?
No. Well, you can, yeah, no, it's part of your report, so you can make the motion because the committee approved it, right?
Yes.
So it does not need to be seconded, although Chris might want to speak.
Oh, that's right. I'd like to make a motion that we accept Bulverde Spring Branch Conservative Republicans as a coalition member. Second by Naomi.
You don't need a second on that because it's from the committee. Is there any discussion? I don't know, Chris, if you wanted, or Naomi wanted to say something about what the group is, just to let someone know, just to let everybody know.
Jerry, and to the rest of your committee, thank you for that favorable report. Naomi and I are both members of BSBCR, Bulverde Spring Branch Republican Conservatives, or Conservative, yeah. It is a mouthful. But I will report that this one little club in Bulverde, Texas has close to 300 members. They're very active, and just we were talking earlier about the impeachment trial. During that, just one example, during that club set up a website called Sword for the Lord, and on a daily basis put out a daily blog on that, and then continued with phone calling and that sort of thing. Very active club, and so that's one of the reasons why we've encouraged maybe rethinking statewide, because, you know, does that mean that you need to be physically statewide or have an impact statewide? But either way, really thank you for letting the club in as a coalition. I think you'll be proud of that group. And by the way, if you're wondering who they are, they're the red shirts. Now they're over there. Usually they're over here, so they keep moving. Anyway, Naomi?
I just want to say that I'm very happy about this group. They have done a wonderful job. I've been a member, and they made me an honorary member or something like that.
Coalition.
But when I first went, I was working on a campaign, and I met some of their members, and they have all been very gracious. And they also do a lot of work locally. And so I started noticing when I go to every club, when I visit, I tend to watch what they're doing and how effective they are. And I can't say any more than Chris said, because they have been very effective across not only their city, but the county and then the state. And great group of people, and I'm always pleased to be at their meetings, and so thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you. If There's nobody else. We will close discussion. All in favor of accepting the Bulverde Spring Branch Conservatives as a coalition, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The motion passes.
Thank y'all, thank you. But I think you all know who Matt Dorsey is. He was one of our new YRs that was our founding member of the new YR group, and he would like to give you an update on what all they have been involved in. Verbal report under the rules. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Thank you, Chairman Rinaldi. Thank you all so much for your partnership and your help over the past quarter. Just want to give a very brief update. First of all, in the digital package that went out, my understanding is that our report is in there. Oh, great. Yeah, you pulled it up. Okay, so just very quickly, since we last met, well, first of all, formation of the YRT. We originally formed as a statewide organization because our former parent organization, they left the RPT, and it was formed as a response to that for our county clubs to remain a part of the RPT. That was our formation, and then I'm going to very quickly just go over overview of our clubs and our expansion plans, our club meetings, GOP partnership events, our activism, and ways that you can connect with us. Since we last met, we've added 3 new clubs. Currently, we're at 7. The 3 that we added were Bryan College Station YRs, the Gillespie County YRs, and most recently, the Plano Young Republicans, which I believe we had their launch event about 2 weeks ago. Next slide, please. So our expansion plans, we've got about 10 county clubs in development currently. Our club development director, Heath Bell, who was here yesterday, he did a great job briefing everybody. I was watching the video online, and he's currently working as both our vice chair and our club development director. So he's working very hard, and I would expect that sometime in the next year we'll have doubled the amount of clubs that we're currently at. Next slide. Okay, so that is our most recent club that we launched. That's Plano YR. That's Jerry Fisher at the very bottom, going into her cheerleader pose. She was, so funny story. So Jerry was actually the cheerleading sponsor at my high school when I was going to high school, and you can definitely tell that she was indeed a cheerleader sponsor. So Jerry, thank you so much for coming out and spending time with us and the other SREC members. It's an open invite to all SREC members. If you want to come out and listen to our speakers, it's a great time. But we had about 50 people, and most of them are new faces. These are new people that we're bringing into the party. We've all got to start somewhere. They come out for the social, but we'll recruit them to go and block walk and sharing the same story that I myself share. I went to a Dallas YR meeting first time in 2018, and about a week later, I went out on my first block walk. So that's what we're hoping to do. Next slide. These are some of the meetings that we've had. We've had people like Debbie Georgiados. We had, our own chairman, Matt Rinaldi, Monty Bennett. Yeah, those are some of the speakers that we've had, but those are all the meetings that we've had. All those meetings happen between September and November. So we're very active. Next slide. And those are some of the pictures. You can probably see these in your digital packets. Lots of stuff going on. And we've also had several GOP partnering events. Many of them were for watch parties, but those watch parties, as you know, most of the productive conversations happen during these socials. You find out that there's ways to get active, block walk, volunteer for candidates. So it's a great way to mix and mingle with the county GOP. So that's what we're doing. Dallas County GOP, want to give them a shout out. They hosted a happy hour for the Dallas YRs, brought out a lot of people, and I'm sure that they're signing up, volunteers and are going to benefit greatly from this social that they threw. Activism, We went on a block walk. There was a partnership between Rockwell YR, Dallas YR, and we block walked for a city council person. We love those races because they're so close in these very small cities. And that race, our candidate made it into the runoff. He made it into the runoff. I think there was like 150 vote difference. So we absolutely made a difference in that race. We also put out our statement supporting Israel after the horrible attacks. And that went out, I believe, 2 days after that attack happened, and that statement supporting in support of Israel, it was unanimous by our board. It went to the very top of all of our social media accounts, and it has remained there since. Additionally, we're endorsing candidates, and we're also registering voters. And I think there's one more slide. And you can also connect with us. There's our social media accounts, our website, and of course, I'm here. I'll be here the rest of the day and tomorrow. And Patrick, please come up to me if you have any questions. I'd love to talk. Thank you so much.
Do you see what we have, y'all? We have young folks that are ready to work. And
obviously, we all know there was some turbulence when they were initially granted partnership status. In fact, I have voted against it. But after talking with Matt Dorsey and with Heath Bell, their vice chair, I know there were concerns about the organization. But I have to say I am very pleased with the way those concerns have been addressed. And so keep up the good work and thank you.
Okay, I'm done.
Call upon Scott Bowen to present the Resolutions Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And could the members of the Resolutions Committee who were here please stand? I believe everyone who was a part of the deliberations yesterday. We met for a very long time. We had several controversial resolutions that we went over kind of in the first half of our meeting, and then we broke, and then we came back together to go over ballot propositions. And I can't thank them enough for their hard work. I'm really happy with what we ended up with. And of course, the absolutely indispensable Virgil Cruz was there also, I was so happy to have him working with us too. I'm really happy with the product that we were able to get through all of that time, and I just can't say enough about their dedication. Before we kind of go into the resolutions, just a little bit of background. The first resolution that we will have presented is a resolution of censure for Andrew Murr. So that was originally passed out of committee at the last regularly scheduled SREC meeting. And then we had a follow-up virtual meeting where one of the items for discussion was finalizing a resolution to be essentially noticed for a vote at this meeting. So that meeting took place on a Thursday. We sent the notice on Friday to his office, and then the following Monday, he announced that he was not running for re-election to the Texas House. So, given that, we still have this pending item of business, and I will still move its adoption. However, I understand a motion will be made to recommit that action so that it would not go to a full vote and we wouldn't have to debate that. So with that, I will move adoption of the resolution of censure for Andrew Murr.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
Steve
Mr.
Evans, SD 28. I move to recommit this resolution to the Resolutions Committee.
Is there a second? Second by Bill Fairbrother.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to speak on my motion. Members, since it is moot at this point, recommitting this back to the committee does keep this resolution active. So should Representative Murr decide in the next few days by December 11th to file, the committee could then take action and call a special meeting and still bring this back before you. It's better than postponing it indefinitely because it still sits out there as an item that could be considered in the future. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion? We'll move on voting. All in favor of the motion to recommit, please indicate. Go ahead.
Just a point of information. So would you be willing to call a special meeting if that was the case?
I give you my word. If Chairman runs again and is a candidate, I will call a special meeting.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Naomi Narvaez, SC 25. I'm in opposition to this because we've been working on censure resolutions for a while now, and we have grassroots individuals that have come from different counties that have been requesting that we act on these. Now, the House didn't wait to find true evidence on our AG, and I'm just using that as an example to move forward with the sham impeachment. But yet we have a resolution that states these things. On Murr, and because I support our grassroots, I'm asking that we move forward with this. This is just me doing this because I stand with the grassroots. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Rachel, are you coming up for this? Or?
Rachel Horton, SD30. I also rise. Against the motion to recommit, would prefer to see a vote by the body as a whole. We've already discussed it in committee. It's something that until December 11th is up in the air, and until that point in time, the RPT has not taken an official position on this particular censure. And until the RPT takes an official position on this particular censure, we haven't censured him. So I agree with my colleague. I do believe that the grassroots have asked us to look at this, and I think we have, and we've done our due diligence, and I think delaying it indicates indecision on our part. Thank you.
Rolando.
Speaking in favor of the commit, I voted to pass the censure out of committee. I believe strongly in it. I have very high standards for censures, and this well exceeded those standards. I mean, Andrew Murr has gone out of his way to be awful. However, it seems bizarre to censure him and after he's already said he's going to retire. I don't know if you all have heard of something called the Cadaver Synod from the 9th century. When a deceased pope, his remains were dug up, the corpse was put on propped up on a chair and put on trial. And I feel like we're trying a corpse now. If we move forward with this, even after he's already said he's going to retire. So, as you know, like I said, Andrew Murr is awful, and if he had not run for re-election, I would hope we would unanimously pass this censure resolution. But it just sort of seems petty to keep doing it after the fact that he's retired.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I speak against the motion?
Yes.
Thank you. I believe the motion was made in error as far as having a false predicate. I believe the statement made was, since it is now rendered moot. There's nothing moot about this motion or resolution, or excuse me, about the resolution. The mere fact that Mr. Murr has, up to this point, telegraphed what his optical intended messaging may be, he also included words at the end of his statement, reserving the right to run again, or words to that effect. So a censure would have long-lasting effect. It's not moot at this moment. Thank you.
You for or against the motion to recommit?
Against.
We've already had 3 speakers, so we've reached so you're out of luck. Now the motion, this is now a vote on the motion to recommit, which would send the censure motion back to committee. If you want to vote yes on the motion to recommit, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed to the motion to recommit? I think the nays have it, but I'll do a division. All in favor of the motion to recommit, please stand. Hold your hand up if you have a proxy. And all against the motion to recommit. Please hold your hand up if you have a proxy. You got it. Okay. The noes have it. We'll proceed to debate on the main motion. Does anyone want to speak for or against?
All right, Scott Bowen, Senate District 6. Normally I would have a slideshow and a presentation and everything like that, but since we're moving into this vote, the charges are valid. They are egregious. Opposition to school choice, everything involving what he did in the Ken Paxton trial, and also a vote to name the only Republican voting to make it legal for non-citizens to vote in elections. Representative Murr's record in the legislature has been beyond the pale for any legislator, let alone a Republican. And again, I was not in favor of taking this vote, but if we're going to take it, we need to vote yes, and it needs to be overwhelming. So that's all I have.
Rolando, speaking for?
Yes, speaking for. I am in favor of executing the corpse. Since we are... Since we are going to vote on it, I want to make clear, not just to the members, but to everyone watching, this is very egregious. As I said, I am very particular about what counts as a Rule 44 violation, and we have 3 very strong Rule 44 violations. And I want to mention the Paxton trial. I am not convinced that anyone who just passively voted for the impeachment that qualifies as a Rule 44 violation. However, in Andrew Murr's case, he initiated and led the impeachment and investigation process that deprived Attorney General Paxton of his due process rights. He initiated and led that process. Yeah. So that's why he bears, I believe, the most blame for that sham impeachment. And the other charges are solid as well. Like I said, this is as open and shut a Rule 44 case as I've seen. So,
thank you. We have one more.
Kiko Canseco, SD 26, and I would start out by saying that
for or against.
For.
Okay.
In October, I spent a great deal of time in the city of Burgos in Spain, where they were celebrating El Cid. And El Cid died of a disease, and the Moors were coming to attack. So they propped it up his body, and they scared away all the Moors. And I think that's very important here. I still keep in very close touch with my former constituents in this area, and they're hot about this. And therefore, I think this is very important. I don't represent them as their senatorial district person, but I do keep close touch on that, and I think it's very important.